Welcome to 145 East 15th Street. Lots of room for furniture and conversation. Great space to be able to move around. This is a 3-bedroom, 2 full bathroom co-op right in the heart of the city. You have a 24-hour doorman, live-in super, full-time staff. You have a garage that has access to the building, operated by an external operator, so not included, but you do get a discount. All right, welcome to apartment 7P. When you enter into the space, you actually have this really nice foyer. And the reason that this is special is that when you're coming into a 3-bedroom, you want to take New York off before you actually enter your home. What I also like about the foyer is that, as you can see, when this door is open, you actually have a really good width so that somebody can still be entering into the apartment and somebody else can still run past you without bumping into somebody and always feeling like you're on top of them and having to say, "Excuse me." Here we have the coat closet. Right now it is full of a lot of different things, but you have room for 2 bars. You could put a bench in here if you wanted to and actually do it there, hang up backpacks, shoes, boots, anything that you wanted. You could make this your entrance as well and make it a really nice built out space. Now we get your full living and dining situation. From here, you can see that you do have a kitchen. It is closed off, yet also kind of open to the living room. And even when we're here at the dining space, you can still see into it and participate with your friends. The dining space gives you a really nice room for currently 6. This will seat 8 and definitely 10. And it's tucked away so that you can have big dinner parties. And yet in this area, even if you have the chairs pulled back, you're not gonna bump into each other, so you can still walk back and forth from the kitchen to the living space and still have somebody dining. The major accomplishments of this apartment is a really efficient layout in that you don't have any of these tight sections, the tight cross sections that'll make people need to say, "Excuse me." Even looking back again to the major cross section here and at the entrance, you can open up the door and have room for still a hallway without bumping into each other. The living room also seats as many people as you want. The special things here is that when you have 2, 3, or 4 people and a dog, you can still run around the coffee table without having to say "excuse me" or without bumping into something, tripping, falling. You have plenty of room for tall plants, and you can see from this seating layout, lots of room for furniture and conversation. This wall also has the best proportions in that you're not staring. If I'm sitting on the couch where I am sitting and facing a TV, I'm not staring into the 2nd bedroom. I'm also not staring at the bathroom, and I can fit as large of furniture and TV as I want to here. So it gives you multiple furniture arrangements in a way of showing you how you'd actually want to live with a lot of flexibility, and also gives you privacy. We are looking east over 3rd Avenue. 3rd Avenue is actually not as busy as one might think, and it is close to 7 lanes, including the parking on both sides and the buses. So that gives you a lot of separation between us and the other buildings. Where that's also a win is that here at this floor, we get sky view. And when you're sitting on the couch or watching TV, you could double this up with mirrors. You're gonna get a good amount of sky that just makes the area feel more open and inviting. Going back to where this layout's also smart, you feel like you're very on top of each other in New York when you can hear the toilet flush, or see your guests come out of the bathroom when you're at the dining table or living room and you're just staring into things. That's why these doorways are very specific. So you do get a nice vestibule here going into the second bedroom, which hides the guest bathroom. So you'll have that extra moment to breathe and live. Going into the kitchen, you have a nice width. This is a very functional kitchen for anybody that cooks or entertains. It'll also accommodate different phases of life. You have the sink, dishwasher, 6-burner range, and refrigerator. Without pointing out the obvious, why that is special is that you can see the room here is that if you are going from sink to dishwasher, you can open up the dishwasher all the way, and you can open up the oven all the way. So that if I am here cooking, I can still enter the dishwasher. If somebody else is still heating something up and accessing this, you can have two people really using the same space at the same time without having to say, excuse me. Anybody that had siblings knows that if there's a chance to throw elbows, you absolutely will. So you can go from sink to refrigerator, or refrigerator to oven, or oven. You can do this triangle without bumping into each other. So it really gives you that amount of space. When we look at the cabinet construction, they are solid wood. So if you wanted to change the color or handles, you can easily do that, but they're in excellent shape and really efficient storage throughout. The stone also is an engineered stone and can have hot plates on it and it won't stain. You also have a nice Lazy Susan here. I believe it's still appropriate to call it that. So they've really maximized all of the storage. Sub-Zero with dual drawers. Gives you plenty of space. And you do also have a pantry with sliding drawers. What I really like about this, you have room for a high chair or baby jail or anything else, so it's very functional. You also have room for 6 people to actually hang out in here cooking or just talking and gossiping. When I'm in the kitchen, I can look out and hang out with the dining room so I can still participate. Or the sink being here, the mess is now hidden when you're going to eat and to actually live and relax. And if you don't like each other all the time and you live here with multi-generations, there are 2 entrances and 2 exits, so you don't have to crisscross each other and say, excuse me. All right, now we'll go back to the front bedroom. Here is this little vestibule that you'll be able to have, and it makes it a really nice space to close off the living room. This would be another closet or a great place for games and family stuff. Here is the bedroom. This shows you the width that if you wanted to do a closet here or a desk, it's a queen size bed, really gives you a lot of room. What is special to note is that this room is also east facing. This is the difference between having a white wall by the windows and a dark wall. In direct contrast, the reason that the white wall is special is that you have a brick building across the street. When you have a dark wall here, staring at the brick building, it filters your eye so that all you see is just dark, dark, and dark, making it look like it's one wall. Having the white really brightens up this whole space and changes the way that your eye will perceive the surrounding area. I'll go back and give you another look of the living room just so that you can see that again when we're coming out. The closets are all built out and they also go to the ceiling, so you can access the top of the closet without having to duck your head. I think these doorways have also been all rebuilt. They're all wood frame versus the post-war metal frames, and they've been widened so that even somebody from Ohio can still get in. And this, again, is the exact same light. It just looks so much darker in that it's a dark wall with a dark building across the street. Now we will go into the primary bedroom. Here is a dual Sub-Zero wine refrigerator in case you like to entertain. Here we have the primary bedroom. Your hallway also has a nice space. There's no bottlenecks here in case 2 people are getting ready at the same time. This has a king size bed. All bedrooms are roughly the same size, with a lot of wall space to be able to decorate. We are now west facing. This is over the buildings, garden, as well as townhouses, looking towards Irving and Union Square. What's important here is that when you're in your room, there's nobody that is directly looking at you, so you actually still get a lot of privacy. Great space to be able to move around the end of the bed without bumping into anything. And then here is the bathroom. What I really like about this is that the toilet is on the far side so that it can be hidden even if the door is slightly cracked. You're not staring at the bathroom. And then coming in, you have a deep soaking tub. You also will have a high shower head, and it gives you a nice separation so that somebody is using the toilet. I don't really understand people that use the bathroom at the same time, but you have a toilet tucked back. You can still get to the shower without having to cross each other. If you needed to, you could still build a whole wall of closets there. And why that's important is that this will give you roughly 10 feet of hanging space, and a closet will only come out to where this rug is. So you still have that much space to move around the bed and a lot of freedom. Here is the current closet. And then we have the third bedroom, office, guest room, another queen size bed in here, and west facing. And now for something a little different. I would actually recommend we make this the primary bedroom and primary bathroom. Gives you a nice separation, gives you a lot of closet space. You could easily add more. And just because the other one is a closet that you can step into, doesn't mean it actually holds more than building out a closet here and what this closet does. So you really need to be aware of how much hanging space do you have and how much hanging space do you need. So this is a combination apartment. What I personally would do is I would take this door and I would move it here. That gives you a solid wall there. This is now where I put my bench and I put backpacks and other hanging things. So I would build that out possibly as another closet, or I would steal the closet here, build a closet out on the inside because this room is huge, steal this closet for my entry, and make my nice little entry this way so that when you enter, you now get this as your entrance. And you'd still have this as a massive closet, but I think that this would really clean up the entryway for you. Then going into the second bedroom, or the second and third, what I like about moving the door here is that the doorway is now hidden there from the living space. So you're not staring into the door. The original entrance to the bathroom was actually here because this is a combination of two one beds. So if you open this up, you put a door there, open this up, this is now your entrance. Both of these two bedrooms share this bathroom. And then that way, if you have two kids or a guest and you want to sit on the couch, you don't have to see anybody when they're going to the bathroom. They sneak in there. It also is private enough and away from the living room, away from the kitchen, away from the dining room, that when your guests want to use the bathroom, they actually have to then go away from the space, back here, it's private, and that makes it feel more like a real home versus an apartment in New York City. Thank you very much for coming around to 145 East 15th Street, apartment 7PR. If you like this tour, please take a look at the neighborhood tours for what Gramercy looks like and what your immediate surroundings are with Irving. You'll love that video, or see my recommendations on the next.